Welcome to For Collectors.
Hey, we're live. How's it going, everybody? We already got people in the chat. Looks like we got 25 people already. We just started. I'm not going to do the thing where I bring the guys out because you know all these guys. I don't want to waste time. Mike, thank you. Orlando, Darren, thank you guys very much for joining me. I was mentioning that it was almost a year ago, a little less than a year ago. I did a live stream for For Collectors before I was even a member of For Collectors, which was entitled, this is the last national live stream we promise. But so this is not going to be the last one this year, but this is my rotation. So how are you this evening, guys?
Fantastic.
Good.
Want to thank you, Darren, for joining us from your car, which has a really nice blue cloudy backdrop. So it's kind of cool.
It looks like a 51. He looks like the 51 Bowman Ted Williams right now.
But it wasn't that expensive to get Darren on the show.
Right.
It wasn't as expensive as that car. So right. We just saw the ad for Hobbypalooza, which is really cool because that is 2 weeks from this weekend. And I just wanted to talk to all of you guys because I know you all have distinct involvement in it. One of you created it. one of you is the official ambassador this year. And Darren, you're doing, I guess, the show with, you're doing a show with Greg, right?
Yes. Yep. Be Greg and I, we're going to have some special guests on. And yeah, we're looking forward to it.
It's, is it the off topic or is it a different kind of show?
Yeah, no, we're going to do off topic. It's going to be our guest off topic. And we're going to have 2 guests, though. Kind of like we did last month, but different guests.
Which I guess haven't been announced yet, although I do know who they are. Good guests, very good guests.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Greg about announcing them, so I don't want to ruin the secret. So.
Well, I can tell you from the inside that all of the thumbnails being made as we speak. So I've seen some pretty cool thumbnails. Nice. I should say that they're not being made by me because I'm not so good at thumbnails. So. And so, Orlando, I think you're on like 3 different shows.
Well, I was just listening to Sammy's live stream, and he is doing the thumbnails.
Yes.
But yes, I'm on 2 different shows. I was actually invited to a 3rd, but they said I could only be in 2. So I'm going to be on Saturday at 1 o'clock with Caesar, Pepino Man. So, that's going to be a fun show. And we're going to talk about building sets and set builders. And we're going to talk about some of our favorite sets that we have and show some of those and kind of rank them. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then I'm on Sunday, a more serious show with Ryan, Breakout Cards. And we're going to talk about the 19th century cards. We're going to talk about sports and non-sports cards and show some of our collection from the 1800s. So that's going to be very interesting and very knowledgeable because a lot of people are not familiar with some of the sets that are way even before pre-war, I guess you can call it. So that's going to be fun. And I think you kind of let the cat out of the bag a little bit there because I hadn't told anybody, but thanks to the For Collectors, they made me the ambassador to Hobbypalooza. And I'm so honored to be that. So I did some recording there, which will be shown, I think, at the beginning of every one of the sessions is what I heard, right, Dan? Yeah. So yeah. Thanks so much, guys, for honoring me with that, being an ambassador. That's just the best.
Given the events of this year, I feel like it was kind of a no-brainer. It was a unanimous decision. I can tell you that from the inside. So
Yeah.
Does that
absolutely.
pay well, Orlando? Does that pay well, or?
Unfortunately, no. I may get some free pizza at the YouTube gathering, but that's kind of about it. Maybe somebody will give me some good trade deals also. So we'll see about that.
There you go. So, Mike, you invented Hobbypalooza. I think everybody knows that. And handed it off 2 years ago for collectors, which I wasn't even a member when you handed it off. And I'm wondering now, if you knew I was in for collectors, would you have handed it off to for collectors?
No, that was a bad foresight on my part. But, you live and learn. No, it's fine. I like doing things and creating them. And then when it gets like, okay, somebody else will do a better job with this and inject new ideas into it. And so that's, it's awesome. I love that it's continuing, that people love it that much that they want to see it every year. It was only meant to be for that 1 year when we didn't have the national, just to hang out. And we're like, well, why not just do this every year? And, John, or all of you guys at For Collectors, y'all can attest, it is not easy to put all of it together. It's a lot of work. And I was just ready to let somebody else do that work. And thank you guys for doing that.
And you announced on your show today that you actually are participating in Hobbypalooza this year.
I think I think part of the negotiation of me handing over that was I always get a slot, no matter what. So I had to beg, borrow, and steal this year, but they finally let me in on Sunday at 2:00 Central, and I'll be with my ball and chain, Chris from Missouri.
Yeah, I don't know how we let Chris in. I don't know. I guess it was, we had to say yes to you.
Yeah, I mean, I was told that Chris had to be on it. God, again, I'm tired of doing videos with that guy, and nobody would listen to me. So I'll just beat him again at, Showcase Showdown. Just another beat.
Yeah, like you killed him in Strongsville, right? You won that one?
No, he crushed me in Strongsville. He crushed me on that was so much fun. Like, we don't really care who wins. Y'all know that. I hope everybody knows that. And it's just more fun than anything. And you win a whole total of epic bragging rights. That's what you win for winning. And so it's just fun. And I don't know what we're going to do for the national, if we might do a live Showcase Showdown there. We'll see. We're thinking about it.
Make sure this year at the national, Chris has pulled up his fly this time, because we don't want to have a repeat of the open barn. So we got 64 people. We're getting up there. Good evening, Jacob Dahl and Steven. How are you? Steven, unfortunately, not going to the national. I know that. There's Tony. Hey, Tony, how are you? Jim Faulkner. How are you, Jim? Stuke. Dog ate my card collector. How are you? Doug, how are you? Jason? We got a good bunch of folks here today. Awesome.
Oh, is it close? Let me see if it's close. I might have a funny card if I can find it. I think it's up here. Luckily,
all right. This I'm gonna have to take. I'm gonna have to take umbrage with this one. Good evening to Greg, who somehow thinks I'm a stud. I like that. Oh, I should mention before we get in earnest talking about the national. Oh, there we go. Look at that.
Norman ate my Perez Steel with Dick Perez, Frank Steele, and
no.
Oh, no.
You got the corner of that.
Oh, jeez, I didn't even see it. Oh,
yeah,
man.
It's a PSA excellent now, but it's okay. I got a replacement, but I keep this as a reminder not to leave my cards out, because the dog will eat my cards.
Did the dog eat your homework like when you were a kid? Did that happen at all?
No, that never happened. I used that excuse several times, as I know Darren did. That's why.
Of course.
All right, so we got a lot of folks here. We up to 71. Nice. Okay, so I brought you guys all on because you're all going to the national. So what I wanted to do is just sort of let you guys, if you want to, tell people, what your plans are when you're going, when you're leaving, what your events that you're going to go to, the events that you might be hosting, let's say, or anything like that. Just sort of a general idea of what your experience you expect it to be this year, Mike.
I'm going Tuesday through Saturday. I have never stayed at a national on Sunday, and that's not starting this year. I get out of there Saturday late afternoon, early evening. I'll fly back, and that gives me a day to recover and a day to all the cards that I bought. I can spend all day Sunday putting them in the various places that they go in the collection. Let's see. Julie's going with me. She's bringing a friend of hers, and they're going to toot around Chicago for most of the time, but they will be attending the YouTube get-together on Thursday evening. So you can get Julie's autograph if you want, and she'll take selfies with you and all that kind of stuff. Like, y'all should really do that because it'll make her so embarrassed. It'll be hilarious if you guys go up, oh my gosh, Julie, you're so much better than Mike, which is all true, by the way. That's not even lying to her. It's just, it'll make her, it'll be good. That would be great. She would love that. And what am I doing Friday night? I don't know what I'm doing Friday night. Yeah, I may go to Ash's dinner. We'll see. Got some other stuff. I don't know.
Orlando, what you got going?
Well, I'm leaving at I think 6 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday, so I should be there early in Cleveland and in Chicago. So I got to check in the hotel and try to get my ticket as early as possible in there. So I want to be in there as soon as it opens, and I'm going to be there through Saturday afternoon. Also, I think my plane leaves sometime around 7 or 8 at night, so I'm going to miss the trade night. But, usually I try to stay on Saturday, but, this time around, I'm going to cut it a day short, just, still kind of recovering a little bit from my surgery. So I don't want to overstress myself too much, but went out for a walk today. So I'm trying to get back in card show shape. So, but definitely I'll be there Wednesday early, and I'm leaving on Saturday afternoon.
Nice.
Mike has a very nice message to you that you're looking good and glad to see you're going to meet your goal going to the national. I think everybody feels that way. I should mention that Rudog had a very serious surgery recently, and he's back and got through it, which is great to hear. And reporting here that he wants to thank everybody for keeping him in the prayers and for the wishing him the best. So that's very nice. So Darren, are you going with is your dad coming this year?
Yeah, so I'm gonna fly in Wednesday. I get in I think Wednesday early evening. My dad and my brother both coming. They're flying in Thursday, so I'm planning to go to Mike's thing on Thursday, and then Ash's dinner Friday, and then Saturday I've got dinner with my dad and brother downtown. Then I fly home Sunday morning.
I should mention Mike's thing on Thursday is, of course, the YouTube get together, which you will be at which hotel? I know it's not the hotel I'm in, but it's the one next to it.
Embassy Suites, literally across the street from the entrance to the show. And we'll have signage this year, even though we're not approved to be there by Embassy Suites at all. It's just an open public area that we just take over. Basically, we've done it. I think this will be our 4th time in Chicago to do this. So I know the drill. The only negative is the bar's down a half flight of stairs. And so they won't know what's going to hit them on Thursday night. So
But if it's been there every year for the last 4 years, they should have an idea, right? I mean,
maybe. I know the bar bill is going to be really high. Go ahead, Darren. Sorry.
I was going to say that we weren't there last. I mean, they might not remember because we weren't there last year.
Yeah,
right?
The last Chicago.
Right. Yeah.
Last Chicago, it was. I think this one was going to be the biggest one yet. I would expect 300 to 500 people at this thing.
Yep.
It's going to be awesome.
Nice.
I want to encourage everybody that, I want to just encourage everybody that's not a YouTuber, please go. You know, we want you guys to go, and hopefully we'll convince some of you guys to start a channel. And I know that last time I was in Chicago, I talked to a few people and they ended up starting a channel right after that. So come and join us. You don't have to be a YouTube content creator. Just everybody come on in, guys. Just fill that place up.
Absolutely. And the Saturday night that we've talked about, which is the four collectors are hosting the Vintage Trade Night, which is official with the National this year, which we sort of took the impetus because of how well the trade night did in Strongsville in April. So I guess they were convinced that we could do it. So we'll see what happens. I should mention one of the people who last year, as Orlando mentioned, came to the YouTube get together without a channel, and a year later has a terrific channel. So hope to see Tony there too. Do you have, Darren? I know you and Greg have done this thing in the past where you listed like your targets for the year. Do you have like specific targets for the National?
I usually do. I usually I print out my spreadsheet. I've got usually like 8 to 15 cards. I have the most recent comps for each of them in different grades just to give me kind of a baseline. It's what I usually do. But then this year at Strongsville, I didn't bring a list, and I ended up getting a bunch of cool stuff that I would never have purchased had I had my list. So I'm going to take that approach at the National this year, just see what's there and pick up some new interesting stuff. But yeah, I mean, there are goal cards on my list still, and if I see them and I really want one, then I might pick something up like that. But I think I'm going to go listless this year and see how it goes.
Interesting. Orlando, what do you think? You have any specific goal cards or Grail cards this year?
Well, I usually don't have a list. I do have one thing, you know, for the last 20 years, I've been putting together the Goodwin Champions set, 1888 Goodwin Champions. And back in 2016, PSA actually did an article in their magazine, and they interviewed me on that. And I was, big PSA set registry guy. So I was number 3 on the list. And I really wanted, kind of inspired me to become the number 1. And eventually I made it. So every year that I went to the National, I've been looking to upgrade some cards in that set. And of course, they're coming harder and harder to find. And, you know, I've kind of, there's only a few that I need that are, less than a 4. So if I find some of those, there's one of the boxers, there's a tennis player that I need, and just a couple others that I'd like to possibly upgrade if I could. But really, other than that, my goal is just focusing on certain players that I like, mainly pre-war, like Cobb, or if I find, hopefully an affordable Cobb or affordable Ruth or something like that, I'll try to get something like that, or Walter Johnson. And really not any specific cards, but just some players, and also some vintage football. If I can find some, I also collect some football stuff. So some of the real vintage football cards I'll look for, if I can afford it, if I can sell enough to get maybe a Nagurski, of course, I'd love to have something like that, or, but
that would be
some of those key cards for football also that I if I find something like that I could afford, and I'll bring some cards to be trading and selling to some of the dealers there. I know Ash and, Garrett from Ballpark Memories will be there. So hopefully, I can go ahead and sell them some stuff. And, we'll see what happens. I like I said, I don't have any specific cards, but there's stuff that I kind of look for. And if I have enough money to pull something or get lucky with something, I'll do that. But most of the time, I find something I'm surprised with, and that's what happened at the last national. We'll talk about that later on.
Yeah, I got some pictures, but I remember last year, Mike, when we did that live stream, you said, I think it was the 4849 Leaf DiMaggio was going to be on your list. And I saw one and sent you, texted you a photo, but you had already purchased it. So,
isn't that cool that you can, if you put it out there, here's what I'm looking for. It doesn't create competition. It creates camaraderie, right? It creates the opportunity for other people. Rarely do I find my own cards anymore. Once I put it out there, guys are texting me or calling me like, hey, come to booth, XYZ. There's a copy here. And I expect people to do that this year because I want to get a 41 play ball Joe DiMaggio. And since Darren won't sell me his, then I've got to go find my own. And they've gotten pricey, like even in lower grades now. It's gotten, anybody says there's a lull in the prices, I don't believe it. And so that's kind of number one. But I'm very Darren-like in my approach to any show. Really, is go and see what comes in front of you. I mean, I know Darren bought a card in Strongsville that if I would have seen it, I would have bought it in a heartbeat. And that's not a card I'm looking for. Wouldn't have even been on my radar at all. And so I'm just looking for cool stuff that adds diversity to my collection and tells good stories. And yes, there's stuff I have that I want. I will have my list available, but I'm not beholden to that.
I think you're talking about the propagandist Montiel Joe DiMaggio, right?
It's still too soon, Dan. Let's not talk about it. I didn't see it.
Well, and honestly, that one was interesting, right? Because I didn't see it either. Orlando's buddy who sells the Cuban cards. Right. When I went over, Sammy actually grabbed me and said, "Hey, Orlando's buddy brought something he wants to show you just to see if you'd like it." And he had that card, which was awesome. Like that was like the highlight of my card purchases at Strongsville. And it kind of goes back to what Mike said is, people get to know what we're looking for and what we collect. And even if it's not a specific card, a lot of times people say, hey, based on what you buy, based on what you collect, based on what you show, here's some stuff that you might like. And I think that's a big perk of doing YouTube.
Yeah, it takes a village to build a card collection.
Yep.
I think that what you guys are saying is absolutely correct. Like, do not you can improvise. It's like a jazz concert. You go in there and some of the best things you are done are improvised. So if you go in with a list and you stick to the list and the thing that you want on the list is not there, then you're going to walk around disappointed, right? I mean, Darren, this is kind of something that happened to you 2 Strongsvilles ago, right? Are you there? Whoops.
His car Wi-Fi is not working very well.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Yep, there we go. Sorry. I don't know what happened. Like it was, my buddy lives up in the woods. So I drove down to where I had full bars, and then like right now I'm watching it and it's going from full bars and drop down to 1 and then bounce back up. I don't know what happened. Sorry. Well, the sky, it was blue, now it's gray. Storm's coming in.
Oh well. So what did you hear what I had asked you a question about 2 Strongsville ago when you had a list and the thing that was top of your list wasn't there? No.
Oh, sorry. I got that very last part. I had a list. Something that was the top of my list wasn't there. Are you referring to the DiMaggio Gehrig?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, like that's a thing why that's one of the reasons why I'm not beholden to a list, because then if my top choice isn't there, then I don't feel bad that I didn't find, the important card.
I think Christmas from Missouri just made a drinking joke, but that's okay.
Yeah, no,
So
that's a good one.
what I did want to get into was previous Grail stuff that I have some pictures of. So let's look at some pictures. So this is cool. I can say that this was outside of Stan Locke's I guess his little corner there, because next to the Babe Ruth card that Darren is holding, you can actually see Stan Locke in the background, something that I didn't even plan when I took this photo. And the story is I come up on Darren and his dad, and Darren is literally in the process of buying a 1933 Babe Ruth Gaudy card, which he's holding in his hand. If your screen is too small, it's the green. What's the number of the green, Darren?
That's 181.
Yeah. So I don't know. Do you consider that? I mean, I'm using Grail in a very loose sense here. It's mostly would be goal cards.
Yeah, I would say that was a goal card. For me, Grail, I use Grail differently probably. Like I have 2 Grail cards. It's a Worldwide Gum Deaggio and it's M1015 Ruth. So 2 cards I probably won't pick up for a very long time, if ever. But like big goal cards, this was one of them. At that national though, it was a good show for me because I picked up that one, and then my true goal card of that national was the 52 Topps Jackie Robinson, which I also was lucky enough to pick up there.
Yep. And the picture to the right is interestingly enough outside of the not four collectors. What am I talking about? Outside of the Thursday night YouTube get together.
Yeah, I haven't given that to you guys yet. Hold your horses.
I haven't given up any information that is not correct that Four Collectors has anything to do with hosting the Thursday night event, although we will be there, all of us, I know. So this was last year, and this is Orlando holding up an awesome card that you were able to acquire, which was not a Grail because it was something you didn't even know you wanted, right?
Yeah, it was just something that it's a crazy story. It's an autographed Walter Johnson, and this came right out of Walter Johnson's personal photo album. And the story on this was that I of course I never looked for anything like that. Didn't even know anything like that was out there. And I had made some trades, and I picked up a 50 Jackie, the one with the full batting pose. And I thought, man, that's great. That's a beautiful card. That's going to kind of be my big card for the show. And then I met up with a friend of mine that is an autograph collector. He's literally trying to put together a 52 Topps set autographed. Mark is his name. And he introduced me to another guy that was a big autograph collector. And we're sitting there just looking at his case, and he pulls that out and says, look what I've got, is showing some of these unique things. And I asked him, would you be willing to sell that? And initially he said, no, really, I'd like to keep that. And, Mark talked to him a little bit and kind of said, Orlando's a good guy and he's got some stuff to trade. And I had a whole bunch of stuff to trade and some cash left over. So he went through my stuff. He saw the 50 Bowman Jackie, and he liked it. And I said, look, let's work something out, And he had another Walter Johnson autograph. And it ended up that I ended up taking it, made him a deal, traded him that, another card and some cash. And picked up such a unique piece, an autograph Walter Johnson. You could tell it came right out of his personal photo album, and he unstuck it from there. And there's a letter that the guy actually had, and I think you can show that on another picture I sent you.
Yeah.
That it says on there, basically, thanks for sending me the kind of an autograph request, but Walter Johnson had lost the picture that he had sent him to sign. So he says on the note there, here's a picture from my album that I'm going to send you. And so that's what he had, and he sold me the picture that says best wishes, Walter Johnson. And that's something that I would have never ever found if I didn't have friends in this community. And and Mark was just a guy that I met through YouTube, comments on my videos and stuff like that, and got to meet him at the National. So things like that is why I like to go to the National and to Strongsville. And those unique pieces you'll never find. He wasn't going to sell that, and nobody even knew that he had that until I just happened to go through his stuff. Just sharing collections is what we were doing. We sat in a corner of one of the areas there at the National, and just kind of going through. There were 3 guys there going through, 4 of us actually. It was 4 of us guys just going through our collections and what we had, and just it worked out for me, and I'm just, that was the grail that I'll call it a grail for me, because I wanted a Walter Johnson card or something similar to that, and I ended up getting a picture from Walter Johnson's personal photo album, autographed, best wishes, Walter Johnson.
So freaking
So
cool.
part of the strategy there is to say to yourself, this is a one-of-a-kind item that I'm never going to see again. But this 1950 Bowman Jackie Robinson, which is a fantastic card, you're going to see another one of those eventually.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's sort of this theory on that. Now, Mike, I know you have in the past had cards that you've traded or sold and then turned into different items. Any national experiences you want to share with that regard?
Just I love buying big cards at the National. I mean, I bring a decent amount of money, and it's time to buy those cards that I only want to buy in person, that I don't want to buy. I can buy $100 card on eBay. I'm not buying $1,000+ card on eBay. I'm just not. And so I want to, bring as many people in as I can on those decisions. And, I remember one of the first I was at the National in 18, I guess. And, was it Eric? Those back pages helped me buy my Hank Aaron rookie. And then I bought my Willie Mays rookie that way, but I called in Andrew, Enough Said Cards. Basically, he's the card whisperer. If you ever want to know if you should make a purchase, get Andrew in on the decision, and he'll steer you the right direction. And, I just have those memories attached with each card that make it all the more special. And being with other guys when they buy big cards for themselves, that's a lot of fun too. I love being a part of that and rendering an opinion for whatever it's worth to whoever it is that's buying said card, and love telling them, yeah, that's a pretty good deal or not a good deal or whatever. And the National is a unique environment for that. Strongsville's it's like that too, but the National is just so much bigger, and there's so many more people. It gets pretty crazy, and I just always have memories with cards that I just will never forget, where I bought them and who I bought them with.
Absolutely. So this is there we go. So Orlando, you sent me these photos. I think the one on the left is a Strongsville purchase.
Yeah, that was the big purchase from Strongsville, and similar to what I do at the National, I ended up selling a bunch of cards to Ash and another dealer there, and that helped me pick up that Cobb. And it's a card I've always wanted, and the dealer I bought it from had 4 Cobbs, and this one was the polar bear back, and it was just a beautiful card, and just really, as far as the other ones that he had, it was the best one that he had. He had another one in a grade 5, but this one I thought looked a lot better. And I was able to work out a straight cash deal with this guy because I had sold some cards to Ash. And that was really my big purchase at Strongsville. And the other one there, that Tim Keefe, the story on that was that before Atlantic City, like John 3D80's kid spends his budget right before Strongsville, it seems like. Well, about a month before before the national, the Atlantic City National, I saw this up at auction, and I had already been trying to save some money, and I had this Tim Keefe in a 4, and this one is the highest graded. It's the only one out there as an 8, and this was a chance for me to take my set to be the #1 set on the PSA registry, and so I went ahead and jumped in, and I had a limit, but I ended up getting that card really a lot cheaper than I thought I could. Maybe because a lot of people were spending money before the national. So I bought this card about I think it was 3 to 4 weeks before the Atlantic City National, and I was able to go to the Atlantic City National and sell my 4 that I had there, the same card, plus a few others, to pick up some money, which helped pay for this card that I got there. And so it's not just buying cards at the national. You have a great opportunity to sell cards at the national, because these cards like this, you're not going to be able to sell on any local shows, and these are kind of cards you sell at auctions. But as I walked through the national, I found a guy that had a few of these and had 8 cards from the 19th century. And when I showed him my Tim Keefe in a 4, he immediately wanted to buy it, and I said, great. So there's a lot of dealers out there that you could find that are focusing or interested in certain cards for certain era or certain sets that are willing to buy these cards at the national. So it's also a selling opportunity, not just a buying opportunity. So this was a case where I got the card before the national, but I got most of the money from that it cost me from selling cards at the national.
Darren, any strategies you want to share for people who want to purchase gold or Grail cards at the national?
Yeah, I think yeah. For me, yes. What I typically, I don't necessarily. I'm probably not the best person to answer this, because what I typically do is I'll go in there with a goal, and I'll bring money for a goal, but then I'll see a few other cards before I find the goal card, and I'll buy them. Then my budget for the goal kind of goes away, and then I have to pretend I have a reason to pull money out of savings to go buy the goal card. And yeah, so I mean, for me, I would say if you go there with the goal of getting a card, the national's multiple days, right? Spend a day and a half looking for the goal card. And if you can't find it anywhere, you don't see it anywhere, and you've checked everywhere, then go ahead and buy the other cards. But if you go there with the goal to buy a big card and you see other things that you kind of like, but not like as much as it, don't buy them right away. Wait until you've seen everything to make sure, because that's what I do is I'll buy cards. I'll burn too much budget buying other cards, and then the big cards I have to either go less eye appeal or not get them at all.
So Tony says that if you see Darren on the floor of the national, make sure you go up to him and ask him where Greg is at that moment. He loves that.
Yeah, that's my favorite part of the national. People come up to me and they're like, "Are you Darren?" I'm like, "I am." And they're like, "Where's Greg?" I'm like, "Oh, he's over there. Nice to meet you."
That's so unfair.
Dan, that happened to me at the national. There was a guy,
What?
Dave, and I think Dave has an incredible collection. And he was there showing me some cards. He says, "You know where Greg is? I want to show him these cards." And I had to text Greg and try to find him. And finally I found Greg and Darren, right, Darren? That you saw Dave's collection that he had?
Yes, and that's funny because I met Dave because Orlando got me and brought me over. Now Dave and I are friends. We're actually going to go to a Rockies game in a couple weeks.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That was a fun memory, helping Mike buy that Page autograph.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that, Orlando?
Yeah. He was going to buy one from Garrett, and it was kind of a very light. It wasn't very dark, the Page autograph, and I had seen another one, and I went over and I actually was thinking of buying it, but I ended up buying the Cobb instead. And when I the other Cobb that I got. So when I went over there and I talked to Mike, you know, I said, Mike, there's a really, really nice one over there. It's got an inscription if you want to take a look at it. And the guy thought that the inscription had the name Tom on it, you know, so he had it priced pretty good, but it said best wishes from Satchel Page. But the guy thought it said best wishes, Tom, Satchel Page. But that's just the way Satchel Page wrote from. It looked like Tom. So the guy had it priced really good, and it was a beautiful dark autograph. I mean, very, very. It was really the best one in the whole room. So I said, you know, you gotta get it. You gotta get it. And he actually got it at a great deal. And then finally, the guy realized that it didn't say Tom on that. It said from, but it was a little too late already because Mike had already bought it.
Love stuff like that.
That's awesome.
So last year I saw Darren buy the Babe Ruth card, and I've always wanted to buy a Babe Ruth card pretty much for my entire life, Gowdy card. And so I was motivated, and in August I started saving up money. I had this envelope in my office that said Babe Ruth on it. So I would put $5 in here if I got like an extra 100 here, a couple 100 here. So I ended up, and then I was working at card shows, putting the money I made from card shows in there. I ended up getting up to about $4,000. And it was Philly. So I went to Philly, and Ash had this Babe Ruth card. And again, motivated by Darren, just going up and buying the card, I gave Ash my $4,000 in cash and some more money from Venmo, and bought my Grail card. So that was a lot of savings, a lot of work, some motivation, some inspiration, and then the Ty Cobb on the right is from Strongsville this year, which again saved up money, decided what my target was going to be. I worked a bunch of card shows. I actually sold another Ty Cobb card at one of those card shows, made enough cash to go and work out a deal with Stan Locke. So two Grail journeys that I feel were sort of motivated both by people in the hobby, by watching people purchase cards, by understanding a little bit more about how to go about, you know, acquiring these kind of cards. I should say that after I bought that Ty Cobb, Andrew from Nuff Said Cards was there, and he took a look at it, and he gave me the seal of approval. So that was one of the best things too. And
that's way better than a Mike Baker sticker or anything. If Andrew gives it the thumbs up, you're good, man. I mean,
yep.
Darren, do you have the red Cobb?
Do I own one? I don't have it with me because I'm in the car, so I have no cards with me. But yes, I own a red Cobb.
Okay, so we're all part of the red Cobb family. That's good.
Yep. That actually was my big pickup from the National in Chicago 2 years ago. That and the 49 Bowman Satchel Page. Those are my two big pickups that year.
Question. Do you guys think in terms of collection balance and player quotas, like, will you ever feel satisfied with what you have for a player, or is it just me? So I guess, Mike, you do like more sort of intense player collecting than maybe the rest of us do. What do you think about that question?
I see guys that, you know, hey, I want an example of players, you know, one example of a card of that player in their collection. There's nothing wrong with that. I just want all of them. That's all. That's the only difference. I just want all of them. So there are guys, you know, I have, you know, Walter Johnson or Speaker Cobb or whatever. Eventually I just want to have the red and the green and the bat off shoulder. And, you know, I don't know why I wouldn't want them all. I want all 433 Gowdy Ruths, you know? So it's just, I don't know how to answer that other than I collect a different way. No, the answer is to Al's question is no. I'm building a bigger boat right now. They're building the pad tomorrow. Somebody else asked earlier what's going on with that. The house starts construction tomorrow. So big week
So
coming up this week.
This being July 4th weekend, I had the opportunity to watch Jaws again. This past, I guess it was 2 nights ago. It was on as Sci-Fi or whatever it was on.
I watched it last night on Sci-Fi.
Okay, of course the famous you're going to need a bigger boat scene is where I think this is, but this comes from. But the bigger beast, you're building a new ranch house, which I assume will have a new card room, which I assume will have a bigger beast, right?
The beast won't be bigger. I'm going to just be able to display more cards, which will free up room in the beast. Like right now, I don't really have a whole lot of cards displayed in this room. And so it's mostly art and other things. And so I'm just going to have a lot more wall space. So I'm going to figure out some ways to display some cards. I'm going to have display cases in the middle of I don't want to spoil it, but yes, I've got a lot of great ideas just from watching I watch other people, the way they do things. And I go, yep, that would look good for me. And, it's going to be very epic. I'm going to do it right. That's all I can say.
Nice.
So let me show you 2 more pictures. These are both from Cleveland last year. Of course, we know the gentleman on the left is our friend Sammy Thunder. And that is right after he purchased the Chrissy Mathewson Pinkerton postcard, which I actually was just so unbelievably lucky to actually watch that happen just by happenstance, just by luck. So that was a cool thing. And then the gentleman on the right, some of you may know, some of you may not know, is Rabbi David Spinrad, who is the Rated Rabbi, who did an incredible podcast for about a year or so. And I know he just moved to the West Coast and unfortunately will not be coming to the National. But I had the great fortune of meeting him. That is actually Ash's table that he's right next to. And this is about 2 minutes after he had purchased one of his Grail cards. Obviously, it's the 1954 Hank Aaron rookie card. He said he had to put his finger over the price that was still on there because he didn't want anybody to see it. I guess he didn't want, maybe he didn't want his wife to see it.
Smart.
Speaking of wives, somebody asked me for a photograph from last year's. If I had the photograph from last year's Thursday night get together, Mike, which I think Julie actually took that photo. Am I right?
That would be impossible since she wasn't there. But
okay,
yeah. I don't know where that photo. I don't know who took the photo for the group shot.
My recollection is that it was somebody had brought their wife. That a wife took that photo.
It was a female. I can't remember who it was. Somebody was there. We'll remember. So I don't know. Good question.
His wedding need. All right, there we go. Smart man. So my last thing that I wrote down in the itinerary of what we were talking about today is if you don't get the Grail, or they don't have it, or there isn't one that meets your specifications, do you have a plan B, C, and D, Mike?
Always. I will come back with no money. I guarantee it. In fact, I may not make it to Friday with any money.
Well,
there will always be lower end Hall of Fame autographs that I want to buy that I don't even know that I want yet. There's going to be plenty of 40s cards that are going to fill my 5-decade set, from the Leaf stuff to Bowman's to play balls that I want to buy. So I'm not worried about finding plan B, C, and D. It's going to be zero problem. I've already bought my first card at the National, and Orlando has it, but I don't want to spoil that. We'll show that one later, but I've already bought it. And I love buying cards before the National because unlike John, I have my National budget in it's tucked away. So anything I'm buying now is just extra cards. That's not part of Julie's like, well, what if you found it? People have asked me, what if you found the DiMaggio now and be like, well, great, I have that much more money to spend on something at the National. I wish, I won't have a problem spending every dime I bring plus some additional PayPal potentially. So
I did buy a card yesterday, actually 2 days ago. Ash put his display cases on Facebook, pictures of it, and there was a card in there that was #1 on my national list, so I ended up buying it from Ash via Venmo. So I didn't blow my budget because it wasn't like the most expensive card out there. But he was at the Dallas show this weekend. Mike, did you not go to Dallas?
No, I was in Nashville moving my son. So yeah, no Dallas show for me.
One of the great things about Strongsville this year was that on Saturday we did. We're going to get to Orlando's target cards in a second. That's the next question. On Saturday, the trade night was so successful that I made about $2,000 extra to go spend at the show on Sunday morning. I actually came home with money, Mike. I only spent about $1,000, so I came home with $1,000 in my pocket.
That's impressive.
Can you imagine?
I would have a hard time.
Well, this is a question that was coming literally next. Orlando plans target A. What do you think?
Well, like I said, I don't really have a target. I'd like to find a couple of upgrades to my Goodwin Champions set. There's a boxer I need, and there's a tennis player that I'd like to upgrade. But I'd like to pick up Walter Johnson. I did pick up at Strongsville, I guess a couple last year. I picked up a Walter Johnson American Caramel. I think Darren remembers that one.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like to pick up another Walter Johnson. As far as kind of going back to what Mike said and collecting player runs. I'm not a player run collector except for Mantle, and I've sold a lot of my Mays and Aaron's and Jackie's, all the ones I've had. So I'd like to pick up hopefully maybe a Jackie, but really I'm more interested in pre-war, and the way I do it is 3 or 4 of each player. I've got three Cobbs and a postcard, so I'm kind of okay with Cobb now. I've got 3 roofs. I'd love to pick up a Gowdy roof eventually. I don't have that. So, something like that, not specific cards, but a Walter Johnson or maybe a Babe Ruth, or I'd like to eventually pick up a Joe Jackson. I don't have any Joe Jackson cards. I'd like to have at least 1 card there. So for me, I like to collect maybe just 3 or 4 key cards of some of these big name players, and go that route instead of doing the entire run.
So all those no-name guys. Yeah, that's.
Well, I'm going for the bigger stuff now. I've gotten rid of a lot of the low guys. Sold a lot of my, Al Kaline rookie and all that stuff. All that I try to sell that and just go for some of the bigger name, because I'm not getting any younger. I need to kind of consolidate my collection. And at one time I had almost every set from the 60s and probably about 5 or 6 complete sets from the 50s. So I sold off all of that, just kind of, consolidate. It's kind of time for me to consolidate my collection and really focus on some of these guys. What Mike Petty calls the burrito, I guess, the meat of the burrito.
The meat, yeah.
Yeah.
You've gotten rid of all the lettuce, tomato, and cheese and
Pretty
all that
much,
other
yeah.
stuff. Darren, plans A, B, and C. What do you think?
A, B, and C. So I'm not sure.
B, C,
I
and
don't
D.
have them
Sorry.
really. So I don't really have them ranked, but I definitely when I completed the T206 Cobb Rainbow, I kind of wanted that. I really liked that, so I kind of wanted to complete the Gowdy Ruth Rainbow also. So I still need to get the red one. So that one is on my list. I probably want to get another one of the kind of off-brand DiMaggio Playing Days cards. I'm making progress on completing his full Playing Days set. So maybe pick up 1 or 2 of those. And I do want to get a caramel Cobb. There's a couple different ones that I'm thinking about, but I think I want to pick one of those up too. So that's my B, C, and D, and it might become A, B, and C, but we'll see.
Well, I can tell you, I don't know if you saw this, but when you said Cobb Rainbow, Mike's head popped up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah,
So-
Mike, I have the red one, and I have the other ones too.
that's my face of jealousy, is what that is.
All right. Well,
Indeed.
I guess we should keep the two of you apart at the National because there's all this animosity over the Deaggio card at Strongsville and now all this. So,
Well, that's the great thing. It's not animosity. It's pride that it's I was thrilled for Darren, and he's a bigger Deaggio guy than if it was a Gehrig, we would have had a throwdown right there in the Strongsville floor, but it was Deaggio. And look, I'm nothing but happy for Darren that he has those cards are out there. I can get them. You know, I don't need to. That's the thing is people just be patient, and I can't stress it enough to everyone. Just stick with your budget, stay within, spend within your means, buy cards you like, buy cards you didn't know you would even like, and enjoy the experience.
100%. And
So-
I want to reiterate a point that Mike just made. Buying cards within your budget is so key, right? Because I think I've talked to some people recently, seen some videos recently of people that, not necessarily in our community, but other people on YouTube that talk about, blowing savings and things like that on cards. And I think that's a key takeaway is there's lots of awesome cards out there. There's lots of awesome cards at different price points. So buy cards that you like that are in your budget, and don't buy cards you can't afford because you don't want to. It's a bad mistake, right? Because cards aren't liquid enough to kind of fix it. If you way overspend on something and you realize, shoot, I shouldn't have done that, it's not as easy to get your money back on it, right? So just when you're buying cards and you're budgeting, make sure you stick with your budget. You can't enjoy the hobby if you're stressed out about trying to explain to your wife why you can't go on vacation because you bought a baseball card. I've never done that, but I can imagine the conversation is probably not ideal. It's other things I'd rather talk to her about.
So anybody want to tackle this? Daniel has a question about the Ty Cobb Turkey Red, which is one of those cards that you do need to have a very large budget to afford. Anybody
Great card.
thoughts on this question?
I love that card. I mean, it's big budget. It's a big card too, literally and figuratively. I think it's a great card. Like I thought about adding it to my list until I saw how much it cost and it won, and I said, there's some other stuff I'd rather get first. But I think it's a great card, and if that's a direction, if that's a card that he wants, I think that's an awesome goal / Grail card.
I agree.
If I
That's
could
a
only
good
have
card.
one Cobb card, I would take that one.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Orlando?
Oh, that's a beautiful card. I mean, it's just one of those cards. It's just, like everybody said, it is a very expensive card. I'd have to really sell a ton of stuff to get it, but hey, you never know. I'd love to have it.
I do have one Turkey Red card. It's not any Hall of Famer or anything, but it's they're really very condition sensitive. I'm assuming I've never held a raw one, obviously, but I'm assuming they're fairly thin, so you get issues not just with the rarity, but you always have condition issues with these cards. So
They're actually
I
not
think it's a
thick.
beautiful card also.
They're
not
actually thick. Yeah, they're thick.
Are they?
They're thick. Yeah, I've held several.
Okay.
They're thick. That's what she said.
Yeah, it's got a mount on them, so it's pretty thick. And if you could find a one with a pinhole like Mookie likes, that's the ideal one to get.
Yeah.
So what we did last year, just off the cuff, which I do want to try this year again, was to look at the interactive map. So I'm going to pull up the map here. And I don't know. Is this the same as it was last year? You guys think? Well, where is it?
2 years
There it
ago.
is. Yeah. Well, so far I'm
No,
seeing ugly guys, but
Yeah, I
What
think
the
they
hell?
added it. I heard they added an extra room.
Huh. It's not letting me do it. Weird. All right.
I'll try to
Let me
pull
try it
it up.
again.
Yeah, but I
Try
think
it
it's
again.
bigger than it was 2 years ago, from what I hear.
If it's bigger than 2 years ago, it's gonna be really big.
Yeah.
What the hell? That's weird. All right. Well, this is a StreamYard screw up. Not my fault. I'm literally showing them what to do. It won't let me add.
That's fine. Your StreamYard screw up's not nearly as bad as the one that Greg and I had to deal with our last off topic with our dads. Where we recorded
I
the
think I know
entire
what.
thing, and then StreamYard dropped it. We had to redo it.
I think I figured it out. There we go. Okay. So what's cool about this is I was playing with it yesterday, and inside of the where it says screen, you just put in the first 4 letters of Chapel's name, and there's Chapel right there.
Oh, that's cool.
Or I was going to ask if anybody knew if Ballpark Memories was going to be there, but apparently not. Oh, I'm sure he's going to be there, but I don't think he has a table. But you can look up Stan. You got to spell it first. There's Stan's Vintage Sports Cards. You got Legacy Cards with a Z. That's Ash. So you can look up all the people. I know Leighton is going to be over there. So, and you can see you have the whole sort of layout of a variety of different, companies here. And then you've got different things. And then I guess I should say this, I've never been to the Chicago National. 2 years ago, my wife bought tickets for us to go to Hawaii. Interestingly enough, the same week as the National, so we didn't go to the National. But I guess that on the right side of this map is the second floor. Guys that have been to Chicago before, which I assume is all 3 of you guys, does this? Am I right about that? The thing on the right is the second floor.
I think that's the new area they added.
Yes, it's the
Okay.
second floor.
So in
There's
Chicago,
70
Yeah.
tables up there.
Yeah, as I say, last time there in Chicago, there was like you came in the main entrance and there was like the whole right wing and then the whole left wing. Plus there was upstairs, but the upstairs I think was more for autographs, and then the guys signing autographs where they would like kind of their lounge area. So that would make sense now if they're putting tables up there.
So they also have a list of all these dealers, the tables, which I guess this must get bigger, right? Does this get bigger?
It does.
Oh, there's David. Oh, you can just click. There's Louisville cards, or you click on a table and it tells you who's there. And you can even go look. Sports Card Investor is there.
Oh boy, I'll be right there.
Awesome. Can't wait.
Blowout Cards, Panini, eBay. But here's where all the dealers are. But yeah, all the dealers are listed here. I think was Heckathorn. Yeah, Heckathorn. JD Heckathorn is there. It's right in that area. So it's
There's a great dealer there, Tony Trade. Usually he's there.
Tony
He has a
Trade,
lot
yeah.
of great stuff.
Craig will be there. Craig Halbig.
Greg Halbert's great.
What's Craig called? Do you know?
It's just you can just put in HAL. Halbig Vintage Sports Card.
Oh, okay. Yep, there he is. Oh, they got him stuck in the corner over there.
No, that's where he was last year, or the last time, and he loved it.
Dan McKee has got to be here, right? Yeah, there's Dan McKee. Dan McKee modern cards? I don't think so. I don't know where they came up with that. Dan McKee has like the most oddball of oddball cards. But anyway, so the interactive map is actually really cool. So that'll help people find where the various dealers that they want to look at. So Darren, it is Channel 5. So if your wife
I
is
gotta get back to my party.
Are you driving?
I'm just pulling out of a parking lot. I'm not really. I'm stopped at the stop sign. But I will be. I will be having to drop in about once I go through the stop sign in about 50 feet because then I'm on a real road.
Well, say hello to your wife and thank her for allowing you to come to our little live stream here.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate you having me on, and thanks, guys. It was awesome chatting with everybody.
I'm really looking forward to seeing you, Darren, and I hopefully I'll be able to get another great picture this year of you purchasing a huge card. So that'll be fun.
For sure. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. It's like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Right? 3-4 weeks. Yeah, 3. Okay. Yeah.
I will be flying out on Tuesday morning or Tuesday afternoon, 3 weeks from this coming Tuesday.
Nice. Perfect. So I'll see you Wednesday when I get into town.
Yes. And I should mention, Darren, you did a really solid thing last year when you picked up Orlando at the airport. And I remember that.
Yeah, my pleasure. I don't have a car I didn't rent a car this year, so I can't. I mean, I could take an Uber and just like be there with people if they need me to pick them up in an Uber, but I don't have a rental car this year.
Yeah, Darren was awesome.
Somebody's got to figure out how to get to Ash's event, because Ash's event is like a mile and a half away, and you can't really walk to it. It's like it's the two highways meet.
Okay.
So
yeah, okay.
I think we'll be doing a big amount of Ubers for that. But anyway,
right.
Any last words, Darren, before you leave us?
No, just thank you again for having me on. I hope everybody enjoyed. I had a great time chatting with you guys, and again, I look forward to seeing you in 3 weeks. It's gonna be a blast.
Awesome. We are at 97 people. We got up to 120 something at one point, so nice turnout. Orlando, any final thoughts or anything you want to say?
Just can't wait to see everybody. Can't wait to see Mike. Mike, you're a legend, my friend. You're the one that got most of us into this YouTube community, and you're the one that started all this Hobbypalooza. And really, just very grateful for everything you've done for this hobby and this community.
Stop it! You're making.
I gotta tell you, and I owe you a big hug and a card.
Well, I'm looking forward to the hug and the card, and it's a big family reunion is what this show is, and it's going to be fun, and hopefully new people come to the family. Like Orlando said earlier, if you're coming and you're going to be there Thursday, come to the Embassy Suites at 6 o'clock ish, and we will all sit around and eat some pizza and hang out for however long it takes us all to get piss ass drunk. So it'll be fun, and it always is. It's going to be crazier than ever. I think I foresee this being a bonkers amount of people at the show. So it's going to be nuts, and that'll be fun. That'll be great.
So last year on the stream that we did, Mike, you promised me that you would get me into the front of the line for Johnny Bench for the autograph. And not only did you do that, but you also brought along Chris, who gave us a great story.
One of my
the open
favorite
barn
stories of all time is the barn.
Which we will never forget. But as I said on my post-national videos last year, somebody does me a solid like that, like you did for me last year, I will never forget. I am as loyal as they come when it comes to something like that. So I wanted to personally thank you on this year's live stream for what you did for me last year. So thanks.
I'm just glad I could pull it off when I made the promise last year. I better come through for Dan, or I'll be, persona non grata on these live streams from now on. But no, it was happy to do it. And Chris denying it. I have video. I have photos. Too funny. But yeah, to me, that's kind of, shouldn't we just all do that for each other? Isn't that kind of what it should be about? Okay, I'll take some time. Let's go over there. I wasn't even getting a Johnny Bench auto, but I wanted to help you guys. And it was cool to do it. Like, it was fun to be a part of it. So no skin off me. I'm glad that worked out.
Are you getting any autos this year, you think?
Maybe a couple. But there will be things that I just have done in the back so that I don't have to stand in line. I don't care. I mean, I'd rather go look for cards than stand in. Although we don't have. I can get where we don't have to stand in line very long. But yeah, maybe 2 or 3. We'll see. The prices are so stupid. It is just ridiculous.
Oh, I haven't even looked at the prices. They got Tommy John coming this year,
and
Tommy John
put out
is
a
one of the
caveat.
guys in the 70 set. I don't have him in the 70 set.
They put
and
out
Billy Williams too, who doesn't show up that often.
Who was the other one you said?
Billy Williams. Yes.
The Tommy John, they put out a disclaimer that says, hey, he's pretty infirm right now. You're going to get what you get, and you're not going to throw a fit, kind of thing on the auto. So just so you know, you're paying a lot of money for a crap auto. And so
I haven't looked at the prices.
Yeah,
but it might actually be cheaper to just buy the cards signed in a PSA slab.
Yes,
than to go and pay for it. Plus, the one time last year I didn't have your great assistance to get into the front of the line. I actually waited for Ozzie Smith, and it was pretty torturous. Honestly, it was like 2 hours, and that's floor time.
Yeah, the Johnny Bench experience was much better, wasn't it?
Oh, it was like, well, not only that. Before we got to Johnny Bench, we stopped at what's Tim the dealer's name? I forget his name. And we ran into Jake, and we were all chatting and stuff. And I'm literally staring down at the case, and there's one of my cards that I want to get, the 39 play ball Bill Dickey. It's literally sitting there. It's a 5. It's priced well. And I'm like, I'm going to do the Johnny Bench thing, and I'm going to come back here. So not only did I get to do that incredible experience with Johnny Bench that went really quick, but then I actually found a card because of that trip that I wanted to buy for the show, which I may not. Tim Payne is the guy I'm thinking of. I may not have seen that, and somebody else may have bought it. So it was an advantageous experience for me in multiple ways. So again,
hopefully after this year, we're going to have more memories. We're going to have more stories to tell after this year. I know we will, and let's just make it an epic, awesome event.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm going to log off. When I hit the end screen, it plays the outro. It kicks us all out of the room, but I'll get you guys back in and we can chat afterwards. But chat has been terrific tonight. We're down 83, but we were up at 120 at one point. Sorry I haven't pulled in as many questions, but I wanted to hear you guys and your experiences and your thoughts. So, folks, thanks for joining 4 Collectors. We will see you soon.
Love my hobby. Keep collecting baseball cards.
But hey, we want to keep the lights on here at 4 Collectors Studios, so hit the like button for us, guys.
So thanks everybody for coming, and yeah, we'll see you next time on 4 Collectors.
All right, guys, have a great rest of your night. Subscribe to the 4 Collectors channel if you haven't done so yet, and we'll see you soon.
All right, guys. Clemente Collector has said we hit a grand slam, so that makes me feel good.